You're going to have to work with whoever's in the White House for the next 4 years. What are you expecting with regards to health care policy?
Well, essential workers all across this country are counting on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to tackle this pandemic. And the pandemic is the biggest healthcare crisis the nation's faced. And we know that it's going to require us to make healthcare affordable and accessible for all workers. And there's a nursing home worker in Detroit who I know is in Cobo Hall right now helping to count the ballots in the state of Michigan, and she can't afford her employer-sponsored health care, and she makes $11 an hour, which makes her ineligible for Medicaid. And we believe Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to close that gap for Black and brown workers all across this country who've been stuck in minimum wage jobs so that they can finally lead a decent life.
Mary Kay, I'm interested how that happens with potentially gridlock in Congress, with perhaps a Senate that doesn't go to the blue. How do they make any sort of progressive changes when it comes to healthcare?
Well, we're counting on a Senate where we have the majority, and we are never deterred by the politics of the moment, because we think the Fight for 15 in a union is an example of how we can make gains in raising the minimum wage, even with the gridlock in Congress. The voters in Florida just decided to raise wages to $15 an hour, the first time that that's made a breakthrough in the South. And we think the crisis that the nation is facing, given the unchecked pandemic and the need for healthcare coverage, is going to require Congress to take action.
Let's talk about the broader outlook for jobs as well. Not raising taxes has made some analysts pontificate that the job environment could be better, perhaps. I'm curious how you're thinking about the job environment, what specifics you'd like to see.
Well, we think the crisis in the economy, given the way in which the care and service sector has been hardest hit, the first experience in our nation, that Biden's Build Back Better plan is an amazing step forward in creating 7 million jobs in green infrastructure and caregiving. And the Black and brown women who just showed up in record numbers are doing care work that's never been valued in the history of the nation. And for the first time, a president is going to take action to make sure home care jobs and child care jobs are jobs that people can raise their families on. And he's committed to create 3 million of those jobs. And I just can't believe that we can't galvanize this Congress to back that plan, because it will make every state better.
Well, then what's the strategy here for SEIU then? Because, I mean, you're going to get a Congress that is just as divided as it was, the House a little less democratically controlled, the Senate basically about the same based on the results that we think we're going to get here. And of course, the White House, as we have to keep reminding people, still undecided. Is there a strategy here where you think you're actually going to be able to get through your legislative agenda in any sort of meaningful way?
Yes, because we are going to have a president that's going to unite the country, not continue to divide it. And the Republicans in the Senate are going to have to make a choice about their political future. And they've got to decide to act with the will of the majority of people who showed up in record numbers in this election and are going to elect the blue wave that matters most to all of us, which is the president and vice president of the United States. And we have to come together to stem the virus, to get people back to work in good jobs, that with at least $15 an hour minimum wage and the right to join a union, because all of us deserve to lead a better life.
But as Romaine said, it's not certain that Biden will be in the presidency. What if, playing devil's advocate, he doesn't? What then for policy making?
Well, we're going to do what we've always done as working people, is we're going to get to work in making change at the city and state level and pressuring Congress to do the right thing.
I am curious, final question here. Did unions come out and support Biden last night?
Well, we've been turning out in record numbers for the past 8 months. Our union alone did 80 million texts. We made 6 million voters, helped them get to the polls, and collectively in the labor movement, we have a president and vice president being elected with record numbers of working people, Black, white, brown, Asian. So yes, we showed up in force.